Guys, coming into this game against USC this weekend, big game, big venue. Playing down at USC, Isaiah, is that something that kind of gets your interest, kind of playing in their backyard at Corona Centennial when you were a prep player?
Yeah, it's exciting. A lot of my family's gonna be going there, so it's definitely exciting for that, just to be able to get them to see me play. A lot of my friends go to USC as well from high school, so I'm excited to see all of them and play against them and talk a little bit of mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
And Jeremiah, you're a true freshman, so you haven't had the chance to go down there or play against USC. What are your thoughts coming into the game?
My thoughts is just going in there, playing hard as usual, and just battling, like doing what I got to do to get a dub, for us to win, being a team player. So yeah.
Now, coming into the season, I think there was a lot of optimism amongst players and fans because you guys have a lot of talent, but you've been dealing with some injuries and a little bit of adversity. How do you shake that off and make something solid out of this season going forward?
I think it really comes down to just a matter of how we respond to the injuries. It's an inevitable thing and it's unfortunate, but I think it really does test our character. And I would say the best way for us to finish the season and respond is just to go out with the players that we have, with full confidence, full energy, with the same expectations to win each and every game, and play football. Because at the end of the day, every football game is not determined until it's over. So,
Couldn't say it any better than that.
Yeah. So, Jeremiah, being a guy who is a true freshman, haven't had a lot of time to get acclimated. You weren't here in spring ball, just coming in fall and playing a lot right away as a true freshman. Are you learning a lot on the job, and have you seen growth in your game since you've had a chance to play a few games?
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of growth. Coach Trey and Coach TB and all the other D staff have been helping me just, with little stuff, They always preaching the details. I would say I really caught on to like the big picture of things back in like the fall and everything. So when it really came down to it, just they were hammering the details on me. And I would say that's what's really been elevating my game, just taking it one step at a time.
So you're a ball hawk. I mean, you came into camp and you end up leading the whole defensive backfield in interceptions. So, but it's a lot different than knowing technique and all the other things that you're talking about learning.
Yeah.
Is that sort of a growth curve for you? Is it becoming a little more natural, or do you think it's going to take, another season or two for you to be playing at your best?
I would say, it's just going to become natural. The more you rep it, it's all just about repetition. So I would say, like, the more I keep doing it after practice, in the off season, is when it started to become more natural for me.
And Isaiah, you got the chance to redshirt and really kind of look at how the defense works and learn the technique and learn the playbook. Was that an advantage for you too?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that COVID year really did help a lot, just with getting to see, full games, getting to see how the games play out, what happens, and then, that extra year was really helpful. But I think just every off season, every time we get to sit with coaches, is a time of a lot of growth. So, it helped out a lot.
Now, one challenge for you guys is the defensive line has just been hammered with injuries, and normally you probably wouldn't have to cover guys as long as you have to cover them, but they don't have the bodies to rotate. They don't have some of the guys that were counted on to start. So instead of covering a guy for 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, you may be covering him for 3.5, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. What kind of a challenge does that present to you, and how do you continue to focus when it's a really big challenge to stay in coverage that long?
I would just say that's just the hard part about it. Coming in as DB, you're expected to cover, so it's just like that's the hard part of our job. It's just something we just got to do, I would say.
Yeah.
It really don't matter how long they expect us to cover. We got to cover in man-to-man, in zone, and yeah.
Does studying film, knowing a guy's tendency that you're covering, help a little bit? Like where a guy might be inclined to break off a route if you're having to shadow him longer than you might normally have? I mean, what ways do you have to mitigate having to deal with staying in coverage longer?
Yeah, that definitely does help. I think in regards to that, when those opportunities or moments where the play goes longer than expected, that's kind of something that's more, I would say, just unpredictable. It's really an unpredictable thing. There's typical like tendencies that players or receivers are taught when a receiver does or quarterback scrambles, and so you can find that when you watch film, which is definitely helpful. But at the end of the day, it's just something that you got to just be willing to do, just surrender to being a defensive player and um, playing into the snap or the whistles blown.
So, being both students and athletes at Cal, how happy are you with your decisions to be Bears and to be here?
I'm happy, man. I'm so grateful. I mean, I think one of the biggest things and the most important thing was I ended up becoming a follower of Jesus here. I learned from the church that I'm part of, my brothers that taught me. They were here, and that was one of the biggest things. And just with that, everything else is kind of fall in, trickled in. And so school, football, all that stuff, it's great. School's cool. And football's, it's fun. We get to play football regardless of where we're at. So, yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah, I would say I'm very grateful myself to the school and everything. I've met a lot of people that aren't on the football team, so I would say that's always a great thing when you're able to gel and meet people off the field. And on the field, have an opportunity to play. Not a lot of freshmen get that opportunity, so I'm really happy with that and just making an impact to help the team.
Okay, well, thanks for sticking around, guys, and good luck this weekend at USC.
Thank you.
Thank you.